जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी 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 जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवचकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर तस्य श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंज श्री राधा कुंज श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirahe Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. So the other day, on Saturday, I was introducing to all of you Dwarkadish Prabhu and his good wife Vishaka Priya Mataji, right? And I had told you at that time that when I went to Chaupari temple, I saw two lion-like brothers. So that was one brother, this is second brother. This is Sridham Prabhu. So his Grace Sridham Prabhu, he got his graduation degree in physics and a postgraduate diploma in human behavior and counseling. He is there is a ICF, International Coach Federation, certified. He's certified by ICF as a life coach. He is a business entrepreneur, HR consultant, and practicing life architect. He has been working in companies before. Later on, he pulled out and he started his own also. He has been keeping his life fully aligned with Krishna consciousness in such a way that his profession wouldn't come in the way of his devotion. He made a very good balance. And his good wife, Kishori Mataji, she is a doctor from the reputed GS Medical College, Mumbai. She has got an additional degree in acupuncture, Korean and Chinese. She is a consulting acupuncturist and head of the Department of Research at Bhaktivedanta Hospital and Research Institute. And she is also a lecturer at the Teton School of Nursing. She has got also a postgraduate diploma in human behavior and counseling. Is Mataji here, Kishori Mataji? Later on. So they both are very senior devotees in Chaupari temple. They came in the 80s. And they both actually came to the temple individually and got connected to Krishna consciousness. And then His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj felt that they would be a good match if they come together in marriage tie and they can do so much to the world. So, and in this way, eventually the marriage happened, and after marriage they did many laudable activities. I'm going to share something with you. They have been faithfully practicing Gaudiya Vaishnava principles for more than 35 years and have been serving as counselors and devotee caretakers at the Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir, Mumbai for the last 30 years. They are also part of various committees in Radha Gopinath temple, like Grihastha Ashram committee, and Children Development Committee, Leadership Training Committee. And Prabhu gives many, many points on leadership and counseling and many such things. Even in Mayapur, he is invited to give many seminars for temples coming internationally there. They are a part of the Devotee Care Committee for ISKCON GBC SPT, which is called Strategy Planning Team, for the last 12 years. Especially they give seminars on counseling and devotee care, not just in Bombay, but all across the globe in many places. They have been traveling to UK, Hungary, Ukraine, Switzerland, Russia, China, Hong Kong, Slovenia, Italy, Brazil, Croatia, Philippines, Mauritius, to give seminars on topics towards community development, leadership development, Grihastha Ashram, and parenting. So these are some of the areas they specialize on, teaching. They are community building and training advisors, we can say, to put it pretty precisely, Even any place, somebody starts a preaching program and they want to learn how to solidify the devotees, how to offer them care, and how to grow them as leaders to take responsibility and preach further. They are the right people for that. So small or mid or large size ISKCON communities they have guided. And they have a daughter Radharani who is 20 years old and studying to be a medical doctor. And they are disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj since the year 1988. So when I saw Sridham Prabhu first in Chaupari temple, and then the Sunday feast program, I saw him with a big vamper. What I use is a small one. What he uses is this much size. Probably some of you might have seen His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj uses one big one. How many of you have seen? Yeah, so he uses a similar one. He can lift, not only lift it, he can play it for 2-3 hours also, without any tiredness. And he can dance also along with that. When I play that, I have to stop and play that. So I saw him, that was what was my first inspiration when I saw him there. And eventually, when I went to Malad for one program of His Holiness Bhaktirasamrita Maharaj, there I came to know that he has a big group of like 150, 200 young boys and girls group. Both of them were counseling them and guiding them for many years, and many of them have gone all across the globe, many places. In this way, they trained and guided them in their teenage years. Later on, many of them got married and settled in different places. So they are very, very expert in inspiring and motivating youngsters in Krishna consciousness. And later on, when I came to know that they both are brothers, Dwarkadish Prabhu and Sridham Prabhu, I was very happy to know that. Then I personally got connected to him, and they are very much a part of Radha Gopinath temple, like a family. They are deeply concerned about the whole community. As far as His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj is concerned, he considers them like his own pet. And they are very, very dear to him because Maharaj knows them from very early age. His good wife Kishori Mataji, when she was a little girl, from that time Maharaj knows her, coming to temple like a small teenage girl from that time. So in this way Maharaj knows their families, their parents, all the family members. So they are very much in the inside circle of Maharaj many years. So because of that, they got a personal association. Maharaj has visited their home many times in Bombay. So they got personal association, and so they are carrying the saffron dust particles from Maharaj's feet on their head. Because of that, they have obtained that mercy which they can very expertly deliver to many, many people with full realization of Krishna consciousness. So many of us, myself and many others, we see him like a senior God brother, and they take great inspiration from him. One observation I made with Sridham Prabhu is always smiling and super enthusiastic. And he has unlimited energy in Krishna consciousness, and he can inspire the most depressed people, he can make them ecstatic like himself. So, and they are very strict practitioners. He and his good wife, not only they are jolly in Krishna consciousness, they are equally disciplined and very strict. And when they give the seminar, you will tremble. They will tell you what is real Krishna conscious standard one has to follow. So one time, His Holiness Shivaram Swami Maharaj in Hungary was talking, I heard. He said that he had invited them to institute counseling there for their community. And Maharaj personally sat down and watched them give the seminar and heard them. Later on, he very deeply appreciated about the kind of care, devotee care principles that they taught. Maharaj said these are very, very deep, and this will help in sustainable community building. We just don't want to make devotees in one side and then leave the devotees on the other side. We want them to remain with ISKCON and Krishna's lotus feet for all life. So they are very expert at it, from womb to tomb, how to take care of them. So Maharaj is very much appreciating. So he is here with us for a short flying visit. Yesterday he was in Vishal Nagar. They gave a program for Karnataka Prabhu's community there. And here, this morning, he is here. Wherever his good wife may be in the campus, maybe she is in the room, but you chant such 3 loud Haribols, it should go to her ears also, Mataji also. Haribol! His Grace Sridham Prabhu ki, His Grace Kishori Mataji ki,
His Grace Radhesham Prabhu ki. No. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text 28. Tatha sa saptaratratre vidyaya dharyamanaya vidyadharapatyam cha lebhe pratihatam nripa tata sa saptaratrante vidyaya dharma manaya vidyadharadhipatyam cha lebe pratihatam nripa tata sa saptaratrante vidyaya dharyamanaya vidyadharadhipatyam cha lebi pratyatam dripa tata saptaratrante vidyaya dharyamanaya vidyadharadhipatyam cha lebe pratihatam dripa. Mataji's. Tatha, from this, sa, he, Sapta Ratrarante, at the end of the 7 nights. Vidyaya, by the prayers. Dharyamanaya, being carefully practiced. Vidyadhara Adhipatyam, mastership of the Vidyadharas, as an intermediate result. Cha, also, lebhe, achieved, aparahitam, undeviated from the instruction of the spiritual master. Nripa, O King Parikshit. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O King Parikshit, after only 1 week of repeatedly practicing the mantra received from the spiritual master, Chitraketu achieved the rule of the planet of the Vidyadharas as an intermediate product of his spiritual advancement in knowledge. Purport: if a devotee, after being initiated, adheres rigidly to the instruction of the spiritual master, he is naturally endowed with the material opulence of the Vidyadhara Adhipatyam and similar posts as byproducts. A devotee need not practice yoga, karma or jnana to achieve a successful result. Devotional service alone is competent to award a devotee all material powers. A pure devotee, however, is never attached to material power, although he gets it very easily without personal endeavor. Chitraketu received this side benefit of his devotional service, which he rigidly performed in accordance with the instruction of Narada. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Smai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha Panchatattvaatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So it honestly is a very, very great honor and pleasure to be in this extremely beautiful and ornate temple of Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagavan and all his wonderful devotees. Obviously, when I was chanting Radha Madhav, I was remembering the times at Radha Kunj Bihari Mandir. We used to be coming very, very often to Radha Kunj Bihari Mandir and assisting the wonderful Vaishnavas in the preaching there. It was a wonderful time. Now we see something very, very beautiful. So, great happiness to be here. So, this is the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I can keep it down a little, I prefer down. So, this is the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we have already studied some of the very, very enchanting and beautiful stories, pastimes in this canto. It begins with, if I'm not mistaken, the pastime of Ajamil. Ajamil, right? Yes. And which really glorifies the glories of the holy name. And how merciful is the Lord that he just gets attracted to his name even though it was not meant for him. Right? What will you feel, if somebody calls your name but it is not for you? He calls you, hey Krishna Das, and then look at him and he says, hey, no, aap nahi, piche wala. So you will say, but see the Lord. How merciful is the Lord. That, he called his son. And out of intense attachment to him. And he had a debaucherous life. The last few years of his life. But still the Lord said, no, mereko bulaya. He has called me, so I'll go. And that's why he manifested in the form of his holy name. It is one of the most amazing stories to reveal the Lord's merciful aspect of his. And then, of course, I think we have another beautiful stories of Lord King Indra disrespecting his spiritual master, Brihaspati. Am I right? It's in the same canto. And then that's how we have the story of Vritrasur. And of course, that is by far one of the hearts of Srimad Bhagavatam. The personality and the pastime of Vritrasur. And from Vritrasur's pastime, they asked, but how is he a devotee? And that's how we come to the discussion of Maharaj Chitraketu. So it is Vritrasur first and then Chitraketu Maharaj and then the story of Chitraketu. And that's what we have been studying right now, the story of Chitraketu Maharaj. When he was very attached to getting a child, not getting a child, and then finally gets a child and the child dies. So the Bhagavatam is primarily meant not only to hear. So we have Shravanam. We say, oh, Shravanam is very important. No doubt it is very important. That's what we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. But after Shravanam, what do? We do Kirtanam. That's what he's saying. True, no doubt. We hear and then we speak again. But between Shravanam and Kirtanam, it's an important aspect of contemplating, as our friend said, Mananam. Of understanding what is the Bhagavatam really telling us. And there are jewels that Bhagavatam throws at us every now and then. And it is up to us to really catch those jewels, understand those jewels, and implement in our lives. And Bhagavatam is primarily throwing two types of jewels. Many jewels, but two types. One is the glories of devotional service, the glories of a devotee, the glory of service to the Vaishnavas, and that's how the Bhagavatam describes that. And the second aspect is the dangers or the pitfalls in devotional practice. Typically, if you see, this is what in a broad way divides the Srimad Bhagavatam. It glorifies the Brijabasis, it glorifies Dhruv Maharaj, glorifies Prahlad, glorifies all the wonderful Vaishnavas and devotional practice of those Vaishnavas, and also shows us the dangers or the pitfalls of devotional practice. And this is one very, very, very critically important point that has been mentioned here. And if you're not very attentive, there is a possibility we might just miss it. It is very subtle. So, when we perform devotional service, Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangota Bhajana Kriya Shat Anartha Nivritti, right? And then the other four steps. So, it all begins with that Adau Shraddha, that Komal Shraddha, that very, very, very sweet little small Shraddha that all of us have, that we come to Krishna consciousness. And I tell you honestly, those days that we all came to Krishna consciousness with that very, very sweet, small little Shraddha is the sweetest part of our life, honestly. Yes, you agree? How many of you agree? Yes. So when we all came to Krishna consciousness, we were Mr. Nobody. Right? We just came and we saw everybody as a pure devotee. Because, we heard, oh, he's a pure devotee. Oh, she's a pure devotee. Oh, everybody is a pure devotee. And who are we? We are insignificant. And that's a fact. Because we are ordinary. But as we spend more time in Krishna consciousness and we practice the process of Krishna consciousness, and which we must, and we obviously must spend more and more time in Krishna consciousness, there's something which happens. Good and bad. we obviously start interacting with many wonderful Vaishnavas, and we start seeing their effulgent, illustrious qualities, and we say, wow, what a Vaishnava he is. How is he inspiring us? Right? How Radheshyam Prabhu said, and he just happens to see some devotee playing a wampur. I mean, and we see people, that band baja wala also playing wampurs, right? You see band going outside. They also boom boom. They also have big wampurs like what I used to play. But somehow that he got inspired by somebody playing wampurs. Yeah, somebody, whatever, right? So we all have that inspiration, and we feel, wow, this is wonderful. Interacting with Vaishnava is wonderful. But the more we start interacting with the Vaishnavas, obviously, naturally, because as we know that you cannot tell a person to be dirty when he is taking his shower. That's a statement, right? Right? We all under a shower. We all are getting cleansed, is it not? None of us are out of the shower. We are all part of we are all taking our shower because we are dirty. So you can't say you are dirty. Yeah, that's a fact. I'm dirty. That's why I'm under the shower. Otherwise, why should be under the shower? And that's the shower of devotional practice that we all are doing. But when we are dirty, our anartha is there. So while we interact with the Vaishnavas, we also see their dark side, which we all have. Right? We try to cover it up, but it's once in a while just gets shown. Especially when somebody wakes you up. Because you are not sure what you are doing. Hey, Jana, and then you say, oh my God, I'm in the temple. Oh, I'm a brahmacharis. Oh, sorry, Prabhu. but the first reaction is, yeah, because, nothing wrong, but I'm just giving one of very small examples. But we all know what we do when we are alone. We all know what we think when we are alone. And only we know it, yes? So let's not be proud about anything. Right? Because we all know what we do when we are alone, what we think, what we aspire for. The real test of your Krishna consciousness, my dear friends, is not what you do when we have devotees. The real test of your Krishna consciousness is what you do when you are alone. And that's only what you know. And the Chaitya Guru in your heart knows this, right? So obviously, so we have the dark side. We see the Vaishnavas, and then we spend more time and we say, you know what? I'm definitely fallen because I have so many anarthas. But all Vaishnavas are not pure devotees. Some of them have the real problems, and we start seeing them as human beings practicing Krishna consciousness, having some issues. And that's a fact. Nothing wrong. And this, as we go further, and I'm not exaggerating a bit, there could be a scenario that, and it has been for many people, if they were not very careful in their practice, where they start seeing everybody is having some problems. Only I understand the heart of my spiritual master. Only I know it. They don't understand what I'm doing. I know it. So right from being a most useless Vaishnava and everybody being a pure devotee, you have a 180-degree black, from white to grey to a black shade of thinking that only you understand your spiritual master's teachings and nobody else understands. And that's how people seriously, senior people divert in their Krishna consciousness. Start doing something crazy. Because they are convinced that they are doing the right thing. Others don't understand. So Krishna consciousness, as we do Adau Shraddha, that Komal Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, that when we come in association of the Vaishnavas, that Shraddha is further enhanced and becomes more and more stronger. And then as we go further, Ado Shraddha Sadhu Sangha, the bhajan kriya, we start doing bhajan, we start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We start doing bhajan kriya, we start performing various spiritual practices, spiritual services. And as we start spending some services, is supposed to be anartha nivritti. Right? And it does happen because process works. There's nothing wrong with the process. The process does work, that as we do bhajana kriya, there is bound to be anartha nivritti. Every class that you attend, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtaki. All the abhadra things has to go out of your heart, and bhakti has to be established in your heart as an irrevocable fact. The verse is right, the process is right. But we must understand that as we are performing this process, there's also another personality who is overseeing our process. And that's a very, very wonderful and a special personality of the name Srimati Maya Devi. And she's not necessarily happy, and that's a service not to be happy with your devotional practice. She's not saying it, wow, this Vaishnavas, Nityanand Sabha people, oh, so many people coming to Pune. You think she's happy? She's not happy. So many people taking Krishna consciousness so seriously. I'm sure one of you, I was coming in the morning from Mangala Aarti, and I could see so many young boys. I'm sure all of you were running to reach in time for the conch shell. The problem is, as we become senior, we stop running. I've seen that. When you're junior, you run. But senior, अरे यार बहुत किया मंगला आरती यार. Let these young people run. And as we become senior, we stop bending also. We don't offer obeisances. There were two Vaishnavas who met, and obviously it's a Vaishnava practice, right? Vancha kalpatarubhyascha. We offer respects. We bow down. In one place I went, somebody said like this. I said, this is victory. Victory was, this is Vancha, we. Oh my God. Don't learn this. I'm telling you, as I said, Bhagavatam teaches what to do and what not to do. This is what you not to do. Huh? Because it's difficult to bend, why should I bend? It's difficult. I've bent for last 20 years. अभी तो थोड़ा आराम चाहिए यार. So I was saying that I was coming and I was seeing all these young boys running, and one of the boys said, I'm sure he's sitting somewhere here. Don't get embarrassed, I'm quoting you. He said, one of the boys said, oh, I want to run, I want to catch Krishna first. And I said, so sweet. This is such a sweet flavor that this gentleman has. That he is just in the mood of the Gopas. What he heard from Krishna book, he said, let us run, I want to catch Krishna first. I said, where did this innocence go that I used to have? I was thinking in my mind, that where did this innocence go? I'm sure this boy is somewhere here. You want to identify yourself? It was right there at the end. You were running, somebody said. Anybody? I'm sure he's a humble person, he won't say yes. But I was just saying that what a sweet sentiment. And of course, because of this verse that I had read, it already had a background thoughts that I was going to speak upon about similar points. So I said, so sweet. But as we spend time in Krishna consciousness, sadly, many a times, we lose that innocence of Krishna consciousness. And please, my dear friends, those who have that, please value it, because very soon you're going to lose it. That's the practice. I'm not that you have to lose it, but you may lose it. You don't have to. I don't think Radheshyam Prabhu has lost it. It's just become more and more innocent as the years go by. And many more the devotees. So, many a times, here the very important word that is mentioned here is the word called the side benefits of devotional service. Oh, it's such an important word. Or for many of you who are science students, or rather we all are science students, we know of a word called byproduct, right? So in an experiment, obviously we are trying to really get the main product, but there is never just the main product. There's obviously so many byproducts that come out, right? So just imagine you are doing an experiment, and you are trying to get a particular product, and then suddenly there is a smoke, which is beautifully light blue colored smoke coming out very nicely, and then a pink smoke comes, and it looks very divine, very, very special. And you say, wow, you get enchanted by that smoke, which is multicolored smoke that comes out. And then you say, you know what, let me do this experiment to get more of this smoke. But what was the experiment meant for originally? Something else. But can you visualize what I'm trying to say? Right? There's beautiful, just imagine the smoke coming out, and not just white, it's just pink and blue, and things coming out. That happens in an experiment, right? You have a gas coming out, and then you have some product. But then you start doing that experiment that you originally started for to get the byproduct. And that byproduct becomes the main product. Do you understand what you are doing? And then you forget the main product. This is what we are talking in terms of experiment. And those who are corporate people, we talk in terms of side benefits, perquisites as we call, right? Many of you get perks. All those who are working, we all get perks. Just imagine if the company gives you a fancy car with a driver. That okay, you will get a BMW with a nice driver. He said, oh, such a nice car. And that guy doesn't come out of the car only. Isn't he a fool? The car is meant to take him from his house to the office, and he needs to get out of the car and go to the office. And the reason he's got the car is to go to the office. But if he gets enamored by the car itself, and it's such a fancy car, it's a nice place to work from car. Then the company will kick him out. They said, get out. We're not giving you the car just to sit in the car. You need to just use the car to come from one place to another, and you actually come to the office and you work for us. And that's why you got this perquisite. Right? So we all come, whether we talk in terms of side benefits or in terms of byproducts. We all have so many byproducts as we practice Krishna consciousness. Because it's an experiment that we are doing. Right? So, the tendency is that when we come to Krishna, and Radheshyam Prabhu was so beautifully addressing this particular aspect in his morning talk on the holy name. Yes, I was sitting there. No. So he was addressing this various kutinati and all these beautiful things that he mentioned. Hriday, Dorbalyam. Sorry? I'm not good in Sanskrit, so I'm quite poor. Tattva Vibramaha. Yes. I know Tattva, the Govind Prabhu's old name. So anyway, so all this Tattva Vibraha, Kutinati, Hriday Dorbalyam, trying. So all these things, these are byproducts in Krishna consciousness. And Here it is so beautifully explained that when you practice Krishna consciousness, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koryo Akya Arna Koryo Mane Asha, Arna Koryo Mane Asha is very important. Because the fact is, it is explained here that when you follow the instruction of the spiritual master, there's so many other things that will come. And that is why Narottama Das Thakur is very clearly mentioning, very clearly something that we should be meditating upon. Very important. Ar na koryo mane asha. I have no other desires, seven except to serve you, O my spiritual master, because I know for a fact that the more I do service to you, I will be getting these byproducts. The first time, those who are here, think of the first time that somebody garlanded you. Hey, garland. You remember first time you were garlanded, Prabhu? Trying to. But I'm sure there must be a first time. I went to receive a dignitary at the airport. And because we are all devotees, we obviously love to put garlands. Right? So that's the natural way we welcome dignitaries. So this is not a devotee person. It is a very high profile executive. So we just went there. This person must have traveled to almost 125 countries. Very, very highly, extremely famous person. And so I went to receive him, and then I took a garland, and I put the garland on when he came out of the airport. This person started crying. I swear I'm not exaggerating. I said, what happened? Why is crying? I thought there were some ants in the garland, which is... Because many times we have ants. We hang the garland, and this is all a devotee experience, So every time somebody puts a garland, I plus do like this, and if something falls, then I again remove the garland, because there could be some ants, because we have nice fragrant flowers. Yeah. So I said, and then he said with all honesty, he said, and he was 60 plus years old. I said, for the first time in my life, somebody put a garland on me. And I said, well, in the temple, we keep on getting garlands every now and then. Everybody just puts a garland. So anyway, the point is, the first time somebody, puts a garland, he said, you may accept it humbly, but there is a parallel thought, which I'm sure you all will agree. Hey, I have become important now. I got the first garland. The first time you entered the temple or some place and somebody offered obeisances to you, what were your thoughts? And let's be very honest. I don't want people to raise their hands. But we are all mixed devotees. None of us are pure devotee. We are all practicing. As we say, we are all under the shower. So we are all trying to just, make our mind think straight. But the mind runs here and there and says, people offer obeisances. The first time you give a class and somebody says, Prabhu, Krishna spoke through you. I say, He said, wow, man, this is something wonderful. So Krishna started speaking through me now. Wow. It may not be so gross. I'm talking little lightly, on a lighter tone, but it is not completely false as well. There is a particular voice which does tell you, Sridhama, Krishna is speaking through you now. Wow. And then when you are not careful about that byproduct. Now this is that gas coming out. Psst. Now you gave Bhagavatam class, is a main experiment. But then after the experiment, the gas comes out, the fancy gas. As I said, the good looking gas. And then I said, Prabhu, nice class. My heart is changed by your class. Hare wow. So this are the byproducts of Krishna consciousness. Let us always remember our fallen condition. And that is one thing, Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, a legendary Acharya. I'm sure most of you were not even around at the time. So we had a great fortune of associating with him very, very closely. And he would chant so many rounds, much, much more than 16. He would not just, for decades, he never slept in the afternoon. He never took rest. He just got up and kept on working. Never took rest. And we might have asked Maharaj, why? I said, I have got this fallen black body. I'm not saying black is fallen, but he was saying that fallen black body. I need to do much more than all of you Indians. Because I have fallen. And then he said, we should always be in that emergency consciousness. This is the word I loved, I picked up from him. We should always be in that emergency consciousness. What is emergency consciousness? Just imagine, I think none of us, including me, we have not seen any major war in our lifetime, right? We have not seen a war. But those who were little grown-ups, they have seen the Pakistan war and the wars, in India. And as we ask our parents, they describe that, there are bombs just, earlier there would be wars which happened, right? The planes enter into the city and there's bombardment happening. So I remember my father describing the 1971 war where they had to be complete blackout. They couldn't on the lights because what happens is at that time when they would be flying over the city, if they see some light, they know there's a city. So that the technology was not that advanced. So the moment they see some lights, they would just boom, bombard. So they couldn't on lights in their houses. They would, they would on lights below some place just to eat their food. And, there were sirens which was blowing the moment they would hear and sirens all around. Just imagine, my dear friends, if there's sirens blowing around you, what would be your consciousness at that time? What would be your consciousness? Very, very intense. You can't crack jokes. You can't be doing silly things that you do. You are serious about what you need to do at that time. And that is exactly what Bhaktivedanta Maharaj said. That we need to be always in that emergency consciousness. There is less time and lots to do. Let me complete what I need to do and let me purify myself. There's so much to purify. There's so much anarthas in me. So if we are in that emergency consciousness, if we always meditating upon our fallen condition, not to the extent that you become depressed and dysfunctional because of your of feeling fallen, but to feel inspired to do more. To that is positive humility, or what do you call it? Positively thinking about your fallen condition. But Maya, as I said, that particular personality who is always there in our to overseeing what we are doing, she's going to supply you so many reasons and so many byproducts. But we should always be remembering our humble beginning. I mean, big corporates, they always keep their first office. They always keep it very sacred, and the owner of a company who has become very big, they visit that place very often to see what we were and what we are. Anything big, my dear friends, has always a humble beginning, right? I mean, it was never from beginning big, right? Anything big has a humble beginning, and the test of how big it remains is not the size and not the quantity of, please hear this. Anything big has a very humble beginning. And as it has become big, the bigness can be judged not by its size or numbers, but by the quality of the people who are part of it, who view the current bigness. How they view it. Do they view it as something, wow, this is what we did? or they view it as how Krishna has been so kind. And he has just given us. And honestly, when I was singing Jai Radha Madhav, Radhesham Prabhu, I was so much missing to be, and so missing Radha Kunj Bihari temple. And I was at tears in my eyes at that, in my heart, and they are somewhere in my eyes also right now, of what Pune began. Because as I said, I used to be coming there. It was a very, 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 very simple beginning. Ordinary. The rooms were extremely ordinary. There were no rooms, first of all. And then they got some rooms. The temple was so simple. And everything was just there. And same thing with Chopati, Radha Gopinath temple. 1988. When I first came, it was just a small room. That's all it was. I mean, it was such a paradox. You have to go to take bath. If you want to go and take bath, you have to walk in a puddle of sewage this big. So it means you take bath, but when you have to go through it, it's just sewage. That's how dirty it was. That was the Radha Gopinath temple, 1988. There were so many rats. But then, if the leader would have said, I want to remain like this because, I don't want the byproducts of Krishna consciousness. Let it remain humble, small. No. Krishna gave that byproducts. Krishna gave so much opulence. Krishna gave so much of devotees, so much of influence. But how we view that at this time is what is the test of our bigness. Because things can become big, but we never become big. We always remain small. If you think you become big with the things becoming big, you are in a big soup. Because you have got attached to the byproducts that has come in Krishna consciousness. And you have been snared, you have been captured very, very smartly by Srimati Mahadevi. So that exactly, this is such an important thing. Chitraketu, we got the words from his spiritual master. He started chanting in 1 week. I mean, I'm amazed. Why doesn't it happen to us in 1 week? I said, ऐसा होता तो अच्छा था यार. एक week में सब. But in 1 week, he got the adipatya of Vidyadhara, the place of the Vidyadharas. 1 week. I mean, must be a powerful mantra. We all have powerful mantras. But he was not attached to becoming the adipatya of Vidyadharas. He didn't. It's mentioned clearly. No. I don't want to be. This is all fine. I'll be here. I'll do whatever service I can do. But I'm not going to be attached to this. Because the goal is very clear. The goal is very clear that ultimately I want to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the Vaishnavas. And this is exactly what we aspired for the day we came to Krishna consciousness. That's why I'm telling you, my dear friends, always meditate upon the first day of a Krishna consciousness. When you came, what were you aspiring for? This is what we aspired. What did we all aspire? Honestly, what did we aspire for? None of us aspired for what we are right now. I mean, me sitting on a Vyasasana, impossible. I was so shy, my dear friends, that when the telephone rang, I would run away. Because I was so scared talking to somebody on the phone. And here, see the game of Krishna, how he does things. I was literally, when the phone would ring, I would run away. I said, as if I didn't hear it. I was so shy. And then what Krishna can do through you. And that's why this beautiful, simple story is very, very important to remember. A cat comes to a sadhu. I said, oh my dear sadhu, this dog is very much tormenting. When he barks, I get scared. Please make me a dog. Sadhu says, so be it, become a dog. Then the dog comes again and tells the sadhu, please dear sadhu, I hear this roaring of the lion around me. I get very scared. It could be attacking. Please make me a lion. So be it. Become a lion. And the lion looks at the sadhu and wants to attack the sadhu. And the lion comes. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said in this story, he said, Punara Mushika Bhava. The rat came to a cat. And so Punar again become a rat. Now you'll say, this is a nice story for the first standard, second standard students. This is the story of life. We are all, and I don't think we can deny the fact that we are all rat-like devotees performing lion-like activities. Who gets you to sit on something and address so many people? We are performing those activities. We all must be doing activities which we never thought we will do. We are all getting the respect that we never thought we will ever get. We are all getting prominence that we never thought that we will never get. So we may be performing some amazing activities, but let us all remember it is because of the sadhu's blessings in our life that we are doing what we are doing. The moment we think that it is our own, what happens? Punara Mushika Bhava. So, let us all do lion-like activities. But let us be very meek and humble. And what it means, the only way you can be performing big activities and remaining meek and humble, the only way is if you do not get attached to the byproducts of Krishna consciousness. Because they will come. There will be so many byproducts that will be given to you. And I will just share with you some byproducts to end the class. The first byproduct is seniority in Krishna consciousness. And the first thing that people usually say, I don't personally agree to it, but that's the way you introduce. This so-and-so devotee, he has been 30 years in Krishna consciousness. Right? Oh, 30 years. Oh, very good. Senior devotee. So many times, we feel that, now I have become senior. So we start demanding respect while we are supposed to just command respect. So many times people take advantage, they start, and that's why I use this phrase, where do we get our, or where do we draw our strength from? If we are drawing the strength from the byproducts, or are we drawing our strength from the main practice of Krishna consciousness? As we spend time in Krishna consciousness, if you are drawing your strength from the byproducts, then you will say, I am a senior devotee. Why people are not respecting me? You will not say it because it is not proper in ISKCON to speak things, but you will be thinking about it. Because what you will speak is, I am very humble, Prabhu. That's the way you will be talking, because that's the lingo that is ISKCON likes to hear. But what is in your heart? Srila Prabhupada named ISKCON as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He didn't name International Society for Krishna Activities. It is not an activity-based society. While what we do throughout the day is all activities. Right? As soon as you finish the class, we'll all be going into different activities. Book distribution activity, this activity, that activity. So we are all performing activities, but Prabhupada didn't call it activity-based society, call it consciousness-based society. So what is important is not the activity, my dear friends. If that was the case, he would have called it something to do with activities. Activity makes us grow wide. Bhakti makes us go deep. If you just go wide without going deep, you are in a soup. Because the moment some powerful gust of wind comes, you will be uprooted. Just width without the depth is dangerous. And just depth without the width, you are a miser. Right? Both are required. Morning program for depth, the whole day for width. But how well you do the morning program is how well you are nourished is very, very important. So seniority sometimes, and that's why we are example of Ramchandra Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's guru's god brother. And he actually got into that people should respect me, and then started sort of abusing people. Terrible, isn't it? I mean, we hear this story, but we should not just hear it. We should be practicing it also. And I'm sure, hopefully, we are all practicing it. Then let's not be such a abusive person just because we happen to be few years more than other devotees. Who cares? Krishna doesn't care how many years you spend in Krishna consciousness. Just doesn't care. It's all about your realization. So Ramchandra Puri is a brilliant example of what we should not be in Krishna consciousness. And what if you become like this, what is the result of that? I'm sorry, I'm just going a little over time, so I'll quickly finish. The second is, many times we start deriving strength from the past accomplishments that we have achieved. That's good, what we did in the past is brilliant, wonderful. But you cannot just be quoting that, 30 years back, I did this. That's good, brilliant, wonderful. What are you doing now? I'm not saying you have to keep on doing activities, but what is your consciousness now? And here we have a brilliant example. We have Hanumanji who was the hero of Ramayana, right? Absolutely the center figure of Ramayana. When Ram Bhagwan was around. But when Krishna came, we have this beautiful episode, where Hanumanji was there. He was quite old. And Hanuman said, I want to also help you. I am the same Hanuman. But when Krishna came, who was the center figure? Arjun. Hanuman didn't say, let me be. Can you imagine what he did? He was just sitting on the flag, just making a sound. That's all he did. He's just making sound and frightening the enemy camp. That's real humble, right? For somebody who has been a center figure few years back, and then just, what is your service? Distribute Charnamrit. Hey, Charnamrit. Honestly, there's nothing, it's great service. You are distributing Krishna's mercy, right? But people think that Charnamrit is, but if you need to do that, as the time goes by, and that is the service which your body is allowing you to do it with great happiness. I know one of our god brothers who was in Vrindavan, I forget his name, Madan Mohan Prabhu's brother, Sripati Prabhu. Sripati Prabhu, Sripati from Bombay. Sripati Prabhu, he was a hotelier, successful hotelier. But then he shifted to Vrindavan. And what was his service? I used to always meet him. He would in the morning, he would distribute Charnamrit. In the evening, he would distribute Charnamrit. Because his body couldn't, he was just walking so slow, but he would distribute Charnamrit. He was a very, very successful hotelier in Bombay and a very wonderful devotee. But body makes you humble. The point is, let us not. What we did in the past is glorious, and Krishna has given us the credit for that. But let us not draw our strength and our so-called respect for what we did in the past. That's great. Let's allow people to get the glory of what they are doing right now. That's what we learn from the brilliant personality of Hanumanji and Arjun. And another thing is, the byproduct is, as we spend time in Krishna consciousness, many times, because of Prabhupada and because of the temple, we start moving around with so-called big people. On your own, you would have not even reached his servant. But because you are a representative of this personality who is sitting here, Prabhupada, because you represent somebody so pure, and you're representing Radha Vrindavan Chandra, you have access to some very big people. You can just enter the office. And they respect you for what? I tell you, my friend, if you start drawing your strength from that, you are in a serious predicament spiritually. Very serious predicament. So to draw, to have our so-called big connections is all because of whom we are representing, and to pass it on to them. This is the byproduct. If we start thinking, I have done this. Can you imagine what an illusion it is? All of us sitting right now, we can see these things through, right? When we are going through it, we might not be able to see it. But right now, when we're sitting in the class, just imagine if somebody says that I have done this contact. This person has given the donation because of me. This person has become a big devote person, has become a devotee because of me. Can you imagine how unfortunate it is? How silly it is, I would say. How humorous it is. How funny it is. That is it. And many things like this. So there are many byproducts that come, and that's why our acharyas have named these byproducts with some very, very serious, heavy words. Why? So that we understand it goes into our dull brains. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur called it Shukravishta. He called it's very heavy. Graphic. We all know, I don't want to explain what Shukravishta means. You all know it. It's the dung of a boar. It is nothing but, dung of a boar is nothing but recycled dung. Because a boar eats dung. So you can imagine that recycled dung is such a fallen thing. Right? So dung of a boar, and that too the boar, as I understand from my spiritual master, that boar is the Shudra amongst the pigs. So the dung of the boar, who is nothing but the Shudra amongst the pigs, is Shukravishta, which is what our Acharya explained. Very graphic. Why do you want to run around this? And also, they explained it is called Goda Dimba. It's the egg of a horse. You've seen an egg of a horse? You've seen? How come? You've seen? Anybody has seen egg of a horse? You've not seen? You've seen? Anybody has seen? Please, at least one person. It doesn't exist. Yeah? The horses are not born through eggs. So this so-called, pratishtha doesn't really exist. It's just an illusion. So my dear friends, this is one thing that we should always be meditating upon. And I would like to end this with one line, that we should all learn to practice what is called self-induced paupership or poverty. That even though I might be very big, but if we self-induce it, I'm a poor person. How will a poor person behave? When I say poor, not financially. Also, just imagine you are a poor person. Obviously, they know I cannot go by Uber and Ola and all this. I'll go by walking, or I'll go by bus, right? But you after some time you make a lot of money, and then you say, what? I'm a big person. I can I can buy a car or something. But if you still are meditating upon that, the mentality is still very poor. That if there's a need, I can go by bus. Why should I go by car? So that's a very, very grounded way of living. Are you getting it? So what we are saying, I'm not saying we remain literally poor, because Krishna will give us, and it's a duty to accept whatever Krishna gives us, to have this beautiful ornate temple. It's our duty to accept it. But let our lifestyle be that of a poor person. Are you getting it? And that's why Prabhupada told one of his disciples who was, he had sent a post, and then, the post cost was 1 rupee 25 paisa. But they went to the post office, he said, they don't have a 25 paisa stamp, they got a 50 paisa stamp. So he stuck 1 rupee 50 paisa. And he showed to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, why 25 paisa extra? Why are we wasting 25 paisa? And that time Prabhupada was having big temples at that time. But it mattered to him. Because just being big doesn't mean that you change your lifestyle. And if you remain this way, if you remain in a self-induced poverty mentality, Self-induced, because you have to induce it yourself. It doesn't exist that way. But you induce it, they not let me be simple. Then you will never be touched by these byproducts of Krishna consciousness. And that will always remain safe. And there are so many wonderful devotees who are practicing this principle, and that's how they have been not only inspiring, but they have been, like touchstones, just because you become so powerful when you practice this principle of Krishna empowering you, but still you remaining very humble in your disposition. This is a very powerful thing, and that's what this verse beautifully explains, that how Chitraketu Maharaj was not attached to anything, any of the byproducts that are going to come. He was just focusing on the ultimate that he wants. Just one small story. Just one small story. And and what did Krishna like? There's a beautiful story I heard from Braj. It was Krishna's birthday. And that day Krishna was told that you don't go to the pasturing ground, you remain here, because so many people will come and give gifts to you. So all the Brijbasis were coming and giving gifts to Krishna. Oh Krishna, because Krishna is a prince, right? So they were giving gifts to him. But Krishna had a very unique thing. He was sitting in the big, huge hall, Nanda Bhavan, but he was constantly getting the gifts and looking at the door, as if he's waiting for somebody. Looking at the door. If you're getting the gift, looking at the door. Getting the gift, looking at the door. And then, finally, in the afternoon, all his friends came running from the door, his coward friends. And Krishna was so happy. And all the other people were giving very fancy gifts. But what they gave, they put Krishna some different colors on his cheeks. Green color here, red color here. And then they put some different feathers, not only peacock feathers, but different feathers. And whatever gifts they gave, Krishna was keeping on his lap. He didn't even put it down. He was just, because he was so precious to them. Because their devotion was so simple. So simple. And then when Krishna, this is a beautiful story, and when Krishna got up, and then he said that, you people have pleased me so much by your simple devotion. I cannot do anything. Naparyaham, as Krishna, I cannot repay this debt. All I can do is just give you a hug. And he hugged all the coward boys. This all I can do, because I'm so indebted by your simple devotion. My dear friends, if we want Krishna's hug, which we all want, let us remain simple in our devotion. And let us not become complicated in our devotion, because all the byproducts is all that meant to make us a very complicated devotee. And when you become a complicated devotee, Krishna doesn't have much to do with you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sridham Prabhu, can we take one question from Prabhuji's and one question from Mataji's? Sure. Two questions. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for wonderful class. So it was mentioned in class, one of the side appealance is deriving strength from past achievement. So when sometimes it happens that when we are down in our devotional service, so we remember that initial days or our achievement, and to help uplift us, we may meditate on that and get from inspiration. So is it bad to get strength from past achievement?
No. So it is right to get the strength of achievement, but to derive the wrong type of strength, to become proud, obviously that is what is it meant for. To remember the nice time that we had, the remembering wonderful things that we did. That's the purpose of memories. Otherwise Krishna would have erased everything. The fact that he keeps the memories, because there must be some purpose, and the purpose of memories is to inspire us. But to wrongly derive that, I was so great, that's the problem I'm trying to address. So I think what you are saying is wonderful. That's what we all need to practice. That's what we want to really experience, the good times that we had, the good old days, as we say. Everyone has the good old days. So that's very much required, Prabhu. Please, so don't misunderstand this particular statement. But what I'm trying to say is that, to derive unnecessary the strength and try to get respect out of what you did long back. मेरे को तेरे को पता है मैं कौन है? We say that, right? Do you know what I am? 30 years back. 30 years back. What you did? I mean, nothing, please understand, we respect the Vaishnavas, we respect the scene. It's glorious that what everybody has done is glorious. But if they're trying to derive something for their own self-aggrandizement, that is the problem. But if they're saying something and it's inspiring you, inspiring all of us, and that's what all Prabhupada's memory is all about, that they talk about what they did 30, 40 years back, and we all get inspired. Wow, how Krishna consciousness was spread in the West, how Shyam Prabhu did so amazing things. That's glorious. That's the purpose of those things, and we want to get inspired, by their doing. You're getting it? So I think I'm not in any. What people have done is we should respect them for what they have done. It's glorious. But I'm talking about that individual who is the doer of those activities. How is he seeing those activities? That is what I'm trying to address. Are you getting it?
Yes.
I'm not addressing the people, we should all respect all the people who have done glorious activities in the past. Because it's because of them we are existing right now. Right? So I hope it clarifies.
Yes, Prabhu.
This is primarily for the doer of those activities that I'm talking about, not everybody else who are seeing that person. Thank you. Mataji, any questions? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for your wonderful class. Prabhuji, I had a question that you said about emergency situation. So in emergency situation, if we follow it, we get higher taste, we substitute the lower taste. So how to keep the balance between material life and spiritual life?
That's why Prabhupada said to stay high forever, na? Why want to come down?
But we have material duties as well, so we have to focus on that.
So material
also.
duties don't remain material if you are connecting to Krishna. I don't, as yesterday I was hearing somebody talking, so if you are coming to the class, okay, so the moment you step out of your house, whatever activity you do to come to class, those are all spiritual activities. They are not material activities anymore. Right? So what if you are studying as a student, then your duties are spiritual. Rup Sanatan Goswami, when they were Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik, you think they were not doing devotional service? They were serving Nawab Hussain Shah, but they were performing devotional service. Because it was through that service that all the Vaishnavas were protecting. So in fact, they were serving, Nawab Hussain Shah. You know who he was. But they were performing devotional service. So what I'm trying to tell you, Mataji, is that if you connect everything to Krishna, and which we can and which we should connect everything to Krishna, then no activities remain material. So why should you feel anything is material? So when you know that you are doing some supposedly mundane activity, like say, for ladies, if they have to really raise their children, I don't think you are in that phase, but I'm just addressing other ladies. But you must say, Hare, what is this I'm doing? One Mataji is cooking Rajbhog, I'm just changing nappies here. Huh? But there is no difference in Krishna's eyes. Honestly, I swear. I was sitting on the Vyasasana and saying this. In Krishna's eyes, because you're taking care of a wonderful jiva soul whom you're trying to make a wonderful devotee, even those supposedly mundane activity is devotional. And even the lady who is cooking, I remember, I used to be coming to temple every day, and then I was going through my major exam time, and I was instructed by my spiritual master, for everybody else, he told, everybody else I tell you should come to temple. For you don't come to temple. I said, okay, I'll not come to temple. Huh? So, because I was supposed to study. So he told me, don't come to temple. If I see you, I'll kick you out. I said, okay. So I phoned him once. I said, I'm really missing, because I used to do a lot of puja on the altar. I said, man, I'm really missing doing the puja. I have not done my puja since so many months. And then he told that if you have this consciousness, you are more on the altar than the pujari who is doing the puja right now. But if you have that consciousness, so don't clap. Yeah? So nothing against the pujaris who are doing puja. Everybody cannot be saying, So, but the point is, what is the statement says, Mataji, is that whatever activity you are doing, if you are rightly situated in spiritual life, and you're offering it to Krishna, the fruits, I don't think it's at all a problem. So you can always remain happy in. And if you still feel down and you talk to a devotee, they will try to make you understand how this is devotional service. That's Vaishnava Sangha. So I think there's lots to be done today. So we'll, I think, take it. Hare, you will meet me in the Sabha, yaar. You asked me there. Okay. Ask somebody who is not in that program. Yes. Okay, sir, there's somebody in hand. Shall ask.
Hare Krishna Puji, thank you Puji for wonderful inspiration lecture. Actually, the question is, when we introduce some speaker, or in general also when we glorify on someone's birthday, so what things shall we speak of? Bible?
Please listen, my dear friend. Please don't take this literally. Is nothing wrong to introduce a person saying he's 30 years in Krishna consciousness. Nothing wrong. Don't worry. Please do it. You guys are so sincere. You take everything so literally. Don't do that, please. At least with my talks, because I don't expect that. My point is, please continue doing 30, 40, 50 years. Do it. But the point is, all that I spoke about is how that person is seeing it. Please understand. You do what you need to do. Glorify him for 50 years, Krishna consciousness, nothing. But how he sees it. If you say, 50 years, no, that's the problem. So all that I mentioned, Prabhu, is all about the individual who has those big contacts, who has those number of years of Krishna consciousness, who has those and whatever. So it's all individually how you look at it. That's what I'm trying to address. Individually, how you see it. Rest all should go on the way it is. Respect the senior Vaishnavas. Respect the number of years that they spend in Krishna consciousness. Respect the Vaishnava who is bringing all big contacts to Krishna consciousness. Because he is doing wonderful service. I am saying, that's why please understand, Bhagavatam is not meant for others. Bhagavatam is meant for how I see it. It's for me right now. When I spoke, it is for me. So if you are 5 years Krishna conscious, and somebody else is 2 years Krishna conscious, you are a senior devotee for him, right? So he will see you as a senior person. But you cannot see yourself as senior. That's what I'm saying. But let that gentleman see you as a senior, and that's fine, and that's required to be done. You have to see your seniors as seniors. You have to respect them. You have to worship them. That's the Siddhanta of the Shastras. But how individually you see it, how you receive it, what's your mind's situation is what I'm trying to address. Hope it is clear. Don't change anything. It's all happening nicely right now. Don't change. I will not tell how much years in spending Krishna consciousness. No.
Hare Krishna. So this reminds me, once His Holiness Bhakti Prem Maharaj came to Camp Temple. So, and evening Prasad Maharaj was supposed to take. So one devotee was carrying khichdi into his room. I said, hey, why are you giving khichdi? There's Rajabhog Prasad, you can give Maharaj. So he said, Prabhuji, I asked Maharaj, what would you like to take? He said, whatever devotees are taking, if you give me, I'm all right with that. Like that he said. So he said, therefore we are taking this. I said, but did you ask him? Rajabhog is there, Maharaj would you like to take? No, Maharaj wants simple, he said. Then I told him, no, carry the Rajabhog Prasad. So he took Rajabhog Prasad. Maharaj took enough. He liked all the items. He picked up different items and he took. Later on I told this devotee, see, be strict with yourself and be liberal in serving others. You are not supposed to eat. You are not supposed to eat Rajabhog, but you can serve Rajabhog. Like, I serve so many items. I serve paneer sabji to other people. I won't eat paneer sabji. So when it comes to glorifying Vaishnavas, you can abundantly glorify. My special master is famous for glorifying. One Vaishnava in Chaupati, when he came, he said, Maharaj, you are glorifying me so much. I am feeling embarrassed, he said. Maharaj said, that's the perfection of my glorification. So when it comes to glorifying Vaishnavas, we can abundantly glorify. So it was so good. See, when Sridham Prabhu speaks, nobody can sleep in the audience. He is so expressive and so intense like fire. It is all coming from his heart with a deep realization. And he means it you see, he just took one theme today, that don't be attached to byproduct benefits. Be attached to the core Krishna consciousness. And it was illustrated so well with many vivid examples. And he was actually teaching us this consciousness. Amito Kangal Krishna Krishna Bali Dhayi Tava Pache Pache. So one should have the Kangal consciousness, and that I am simply a beggar in Krishna consciousness. So it was very important for us. There are many devotees who have spent 20, 25, 30 years in Krishna consciousness in Pune, and there are both in brahmacharis and congregation. It was a very valuable lecture for us. Actually, whenever I heard any lecture from him, immediately I wanted to find out where are his lectures available so that I can go and tap more and more nectar like this. Generally, I have seen him, any seminar he gives, he doesn't just go around with too many themes. He just picks up one main theme and hits it very hard so that people will not forget it. So it was very, very valuable for us today. And we look forward to having him more often in Pune. Generally, we get Dwarkadish Prabhu or him just once in a year at the most we get. It will be nice to, and they are not very far away. Pune is the next door neighbor to Bombay. So we would like to welcome him and Kishori Mataji more often to Pune here. So let us thank him with 3 loud Haribo. Sridham Prabhu ki. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So the camps will start at 10:45. You can proceed for prasadam. 10:45 in the respective venues. Hare Krishna.
When I asked, what was asking,